What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. Yes, we are back, your weekly gaming weekend fix. We appreciate you guys hanging out. Shout out to everybody in the chat lurking right now. Once again, make sure you retweet that link. Let everybody know we are live. It is the Shop Podcast, bringing you guys that good gaming talk for the weekend. So holla at us, retweet that link, like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Shout out to, like I said, shout out to everybody in the chat watching us live, man. So as you guys can see, I tweeted out earlier this week that we were having a special guest, and just as you guys can see, currently the guest is not here right now. So he actually had to back out just due to some unforeseen emergency. So shout out to Mo. But I will make sure he comes back on the show. So I hope you guys will still be entertained here, man. But we'll get him back on the show at some point, man. So shout out to him. Hopefully everything is going well. And before I get into my compadres here, shout out to Stag as well, man. Appreciate you. Hope you're watching live, buddy. Hopefully Chris pops in here. We got a lot of PlayStation stuff to talk about today. So hopefully Chris pops in here. We have some fun. Once again, shout out to Stag. But let's go ahead and just get around the panel here, man. It's been a good week. Lots of good energy, lots of good game and stuff panel. So we're going to start with you, Pong. How you been this week, man? Lots of stuff going on, man. What you been cooking up?
Man, what a great week. Again, games. I have played more games in the past, different games, I should say, in the past week than I have in a long time. Just, again, the amount of content, whether it's new or whether it's old out there, is pretty crazy to me right now. So, man, really enjoying the Artful Escape, which just popped on Game Pass. Just an incredible, trippy adventure. Just really a great game. You got to try it out. I'm not usually a rhythm-based guy, but man, do I love that game. And it's not hardcore. It's pretty easy, but man, the visuals are out of this world. Been rocking out on Psychonauts 2 still.
Nice.
Man, I tried out Crown Trick. Crown Trick dropped earlier on Game Pass as well. A lot of people did not see that. This was under the radar. This is another roguelike, but it's got turn-based elements to it, RPG style. The animation is fantastic. I love what they did there. So having a good time there. State of Decay, I've been rocking out on State of Decay 2. Just Trumbull Valley, the new DLC that they just announced. Man, what a great time to be a gamer. So yeah, no, man, it's been a definite good week. Plus, on top of that, we finally get a big Sony show.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. But again, this is what people have been clamoring for, kind of a heads up as to what they're doing over there. Not everybody got what they wanted out of it, but you know what? Me as a gamer, what I saw, it was fantastic. I absolutely enjoyed myself for that 40 minutes. So I can't wait to talk about it more. Just happy to be here Saturday night again on the Shop Podcast. And chat, you guys are all looking fantastic already. Great to see you all here. So let's get down to it, PTK.
Man, let's dive in, man. But let's go ahead and finish up here with our other two compadres, man. Centurion, how you been, brother? What you been playing this week? What's been going on with you, man?
Man, what is going on, everybody? Thank you, gentlemen. It is another Saturday. We're going to have another amazing talk. I mean, there has been drama and controversy in the Twitter streets due to this PlayStation show, but there is some positivity. I mean, there's some really good games that we're showing. I'm excited. Things to talk about. Let's do this. Oh, and what I've been playing, Psychonauts 2, of course.
Okay. All right. Looks like everybody been diving a little bit in that. What's up, chat? What's up, Zinc? What's up, Sean? Two Mod of the Year, Blue?
I also did get into the DLC for Maneater. There it is.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Cool. All right. And last but not least, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's up, everyone? Doing pretty good here. Just been chilling, playing a little bit of almost everything, mainly Psychonauts 2, but I wrapped that up, just finishing up all the collectibles and things. Wrapped up and platinum Ratchet and Clank earlier this week, and then now I'm diving into the Artful Escape as well and having fun with that and dressing up my character, all kinds of craziness. Nice. But yeah, just playing a little bit of everything. Also still doing the Iki Island stuff. Crawling through the grass, cutting up people. So, having fun.
Shout out to the gamers out there, man. But go ahead, my bad.
It's this past week. It's been a lot of fun. I know we're going to get into it, but man, PlayStation show, superhero cries, and just a lot of messy stuff on Twitter. So, yeah, we're going to get into it. let's
let's dive in, man. Once again, shout out chat. You guys are beautiful. I see you guys got your tuxedos on tonight, so it looks like it's a special occasion. Everybody, shout out to, like I said, Zinc, Shown to Mod of the Year, Blue, everybody hanging out in the chat. And if you're watching live, once again, retweet that link. Let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live. This is where you're going to get your good gaming fix, man. Shout out to everyone. So let's dive in here. Now, normally we start with the poll of the week, but we're actually going to forego that. I mean, shout out to everybody who voted. I think over 700 votes. You guys have been killing that poll of the week. So I do greatly appreciate you guys. Follow me below for the poll of the week every single Monday. On my Twitter account. That's all down in the description. So please go ahead and follow me there if you guys want to be a part of that. You guys have been killing it. So thank you guys so much for participating in that every single week, man. But let's go ahead and just dive in, man. We're going to skip that poll of the week because it was a bit, the question is not relevant now. Sometimes that happens when I make a poll of the week. I'll ask a question and it becomes completely irrelevant once said show or event happened. So we're going to go ahead and skip that and just dive right into what we are all here for any damn way. And that's to talk about the PlayStation Showcase. So this PlayStation Showcase went down, man. It was a great show overall. We got a lot of mixed reviews about the show. I mean, ultimately, I think there was a couple things that needed to be achieved just from my particular standpoint. And I think they achieved both things. One thing is getting the community excited. And no doubt that they did that. The one thing you can't deny, even if you're an Xbox fan, there is a difference in the way the community reacts when Sony does things as opposed to Xbox. Now, whether that be for good or bad, fair or not, there is a difference. So I want to make sure we keep that all in perspective as well, too. So whether you agree with that or not, I'm not here to argue you about that, but there is a tangible difference. And you can clearly see it in the way the community reacts, in a way that the journalists, quote on air quotes, journalists react to certain things. So we'll dive into that too a little bit more. But another thing, like I said, is really just get the community excited again, because you got to understand, this is the Sony event. When I say the two E's, this is the Sony event. So we don't know if we're getting a PSX. We don't know if they're doing anything between now and the end of the year. So this might just be the only Sony event that we get. That's supposed to be strictly dedicated to what things they got going on in the future. So let's go ahead and just dive into this. I'm actually going to start with you, Pong, on this one, because I know you've talked about this, man. Shout out to Steel Rain as well, Living Split Screen. You guys cooked this morning as usual, man. So chat, before Pong gets into it, man, because I know he got a list of some shit, so we'll get into that in a second. But chat, let us know what you guys think about the Sony event as well, man. We want to make sure you guys are engaging and hope you guys are having fun. But go ahead, Pong, man. Where you at on this? I already kind of said my two key points as far as what I think they needed, I think they needed to achieve, but go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, Steele and I dove into the entire show for 4 hours this morning. So I'm ready to rock and roll whichever way we want to go with this. As far as what I saw, I was thoroughly impressed with the show. I liked it more than even most Sony fans, hardcore fans did. I know they were split on it. Some really enjoyed it. Some thought it was awful because they didn't get what they wanted. But for me personally, as a gamer, as somebody who has yet to own a PlayStation 5, for me going into it, all I wanted to see was, number one, good showing, number two, pacing, and number three, to sell me again on the hope and promise, just like they did back in 2015, 2016 to a lot of people. Again, the last generation, I was all PlayStation out the gates, didn't hop back to Xbox again until later in the generation. But, so I didn't need to be sold back then. I was looking for Xbox to do that. So I come from the opposite side. But this time around, I need Sony to sell me, because right now there's nothing out there. And again, this is me personally. I understand there's great games. Ratchet & Clank, great game. Demon's Souls, great game. Not my style of games. Not my system buying type games. I needed them to provide me a reason that I need to start hunting a PlayStation 5 within the next year and a half, right? That's what I needed to see. And I got that. And I think I don't know how far. I mean, are we going to dive? Do you want to dive in specifics, or do you want to kind of leave it at that, general impressions?
We'll get into the specifics. We really got all the show. We're flying. We're winging it today, everybody. I don't have much of a schedule.
That's great.
Topic. So yeah, we can.
This is what Steele and I do. So you just let me know which way you want to go on this.
Yeah, thing. No, it's all. I mean, we can break into it a little bit more in detail later. Whatever you want to do, though.
So again, just real quick then, so that everybody else can get their, I guess, initial thoughts out, and then we can kind of break down specifics. But I'll just give you a couple. Knights of the Old Republic out the gates. is a knockout for me. Okay, that right there, that is one of my all-time favorite games. That'll be in my top 10 list of all time. I favored 2 over the first one, but I don't care which one I get or if I get both of them. It's fantastic. And for Sony to do what they just did right there out the gates to open the show after their little weird commercial chess thing that they had going on.
Yeah, I thought that was a game.
I did too. Literally, PTK, sorry to go off, but literally, I thought they were coming out with some next gen, like chess, like action. Yeah. I was like, you got it. Wait, I was like, first of all, no way they're opening a show with a chess game. But if they are, and they're going to put this on a next level, like kind of thing, I'm like, yo, this is looking pretty good right now. I'm like, I might be interested in this. But yeah, then it got weird. And then it turned out to be a commercial. I was like, whatever. But after that, to open the show with a bomb, with a surprise. And again, not everybody is KOTOR fan. Now you've got to play it. I understand that. But if you've been in this community, if you understand the industry at all, you know there is a large group of people who have been clamoring and screaming and crying for Knights of the Old Republic to come back. Now, we heard smoke that it was being done. We even knew that Aspire was the one that was supposedly doing it, but nobody knew that Sony was going to come out with it. Nobody knew it was going to be on their stage. Nobody knew that they would have paid for time exclusivity on this game. This game was synonymous with Xbox. Period, on the OG Xbox. This was an exclusive. Nobody thought this was going to happen. So when that happened right there, bam, you give me a reason, because again, unless it's only like a 3-month time exclusive, anything longer than that, I'm getting a PS5 for KOTOR. It's a long ways off, but again, right out the gates, they gave me what I needed right there. I'll leave it at that because we got other stuff we can talk about, but later in the show, they did more for me. But again, love the show. Absolutely thought they did a fantastic job. Pacing was really good. There was a little bit of a lull there towards the middle. I would have done a couple things different in there instead of splitting up the show half and half like they did. I would have done that mixed versus that. I would never have put Jim Ryan on the screen. Herman Hulst needs to be the man. He's the one that shows the passion. Jim is just so out of place. It's like the old days of Donnie D, man. It really is. When he gets up there, it just looks like he's reading numbers. And that's what he's thinking in his head. It's just awful. So anyways, great show. I was blown away. So,
okay. No, I overall agree. I thought it was a solid to strong show. I mean, I don't even, and to be honest with you, I don't usually get into the rating things, like rating of shows. Would I say it's the best Sony show? No. I think Sony's obviously had better shows. They've had better past E3s, but considering it was 40 minutes, I mean, they did have a lot of mixed things going on. I mean, obviously the big things, and we'll dive into the individual games here shortly, but I agree with you. I mean, the KOTOR one was big, not as big for me. I did play the OG KOTOR, but not as big for me because I'm not nearly as into it as you guys are, to be fair, but I could understand that being something that because there is a contingency of people that have asked about that game off and on for years now, and it's something that we thought Xbox would eventually get to at some point, because it just made sense with all of the Star Wars games, and we hadn't gotten even a solid Star Wars game until Fallen Order. Right. Everything previously, the battle stuff, Battlefront stuff was okay. Yeah. It was, but it wasn't. It didn't really whet the palate, of some Star Wars fans.
It's not the same.
Yourself. Not the same. Not the same. I'm trying to be a little bit more sophisticated with my words, but either way. No,
it was definitely a bully move by Sony. Yeah. It's something, again, it was a shot at X. I mean, it's a tip of the hat to Xbox, because they know they don't have the easy generation that they did last generation. Yeah. They know this is a different Xbox. They've seen Xbox dominate the news cycle with all the stuff they've got going on, the ZeniMax purchase, all of it. They know that. And this was a shot saying, hey, we aren't going anywhere. We're still king of the hill. Come get it. The crown is still ours. And we're not going to lay down and just roll over because you got Game Pass and all this good stuff going on. Guess what? We're going to still fire off some shots. And the KOTOR was definitely a shot for sure.
Absolutely. And
MLB, the show level.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yes. I would say
even more, just because it's an timed exclusive. It's still,
yeah.
No, that's a pretty big shot.
So ultimately, like I said, even in regards to that, there's one thing that made me. There's one thing that I noticed as far as the difference, and you just highlighted that, Pong. Before I go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz, is that it's a certain level. Like I don't. With what we know, what the Xbox has coming down the pipeline, you could clearly see that this is going to be something that Sony's going not necessarily have to do, but until those large games, like until those other studios get caught up, Bend and Jade Raymond and some of the other third-party studios get caught up making those games, they're going to have to be extremely aggressive with these third-party deals, and you can see that because they don't necessarily have they're not able to, they don't have the output from the first party.
They can't match. Yeah, they can't match.
They can't. So and this is, and I know that there's probably gonna be somebody in the comment section or even chat. That's not even really a dig at Sony at all.
No,
it's just they don't have the amount of studios as far to be able to produce those type of games. So I could definitely see this continuing for a while until Sony kind of gets into its rhythm. It's still early. They usually start generations fairly slow anyway.
Yep.
So once things kind of kick into gear, then you'll see more of a strong. Well, with Insomniac, they can make like 30 games at once any day. So let's be honest. We'll get into that too. But let me go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. Get your opinion, man, on the Sony show. What'd you see? What'd you like?
I enjoyed the show. I saw some things I liked, some things that weren't enough info. Like, I'll be perfectly honest. I already have my PS5. And what I wanted to see more so than anything was Gran Turismo 7. They saved a lot of that stuff. They saved a lot of their first party stuff until the end, which, all right, I get it. You got to, your third party deals, you got to show them. And the KOTOR one was a pretty nice, notch in their belt type of deal. A little karate chop to Xbox's throat. Oh, your fans wanted this? Well, we got it type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was good. We got to see Forspoken again. I kind of like the look of it, but I'm not really the Final Fantasy type of player, so I'm hoping there's going to be some differentiation as far as the combat and whatnot, but still looks cool. Project Eve caught my eye, although it has a similar type aesthetic to like a Final Fantasy, but overall it was eye-catching. But when you get to like things like Grand Theft Auto 5,
Lord have mercy.
I mean, even Grand Theft Auto fans like myself looked at it and was like, "What did you enhance exactly?" So that was a bit of a lull, I guess you could say to some extent. That was like, I guess, a low part. I mean, there were a couple other ones that didn't, weren't as, eye catching and stuff, but. One thing I did want to see more of, and we got to see a new trailer for, was Ghostwire Tokyo. Yes, Xbox Studios. But I'm going to buy that game, and if I wind up having to double dip, I'll double dip. But that's a game I want to play, so it's going to be pre-ordered on my PS5. Deathloop is already pre-ordered on my PS5. I'll probably wind up getting it again when it comes to Game Pass. But seeing those games, it was good. But Ghostwire Tokyo, that I really wanted to see more of because they've kind of gone silent with the delay. But once you got to the first party and they showed Gran Turismo 7, I guess I was one of those few people that was like, why the hell are you putting it on the PS4? And my take on it is, all right, you got GT Sport. That's on the PS4. That's great. And I'm not here to gatekeep the PS4 players from playing GT7. It's more of what can they do with this next-gen hardware. Yes, you can pretty it up. You can put it full 4K, 60 frames or better. That's great. But I want more cars on track. Like, Forza already has more cars for their races as far as like when you're racing AI or even other players. Yes, online community stuff on Forza may need some reworking or some updating as far as penalties and whatnot. But all of that aside, I like doing like mixed races where it's like 2 or 3 different classes. So you have like a prototype class, a GT4 class, GT3 class. We're not really seeing any of that with GT7. And if it's going to be on the PS4, they already didn't have that on the PS4. So who's to say they're still not going to have it when it comes to the PS5. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. Yeah, ray tracing, that's great, but I want more info. I want to know like their weather system. Their weather system in GT Sport left a lot to be desired. So I'm going to look forward to a deeper dive on GT7 since I guess they waited until afterwards to put it in a blog because they didn't put dates on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no.
They put it in a blog later that it's coming out in March. So
that ain't happening.
Yeah, I mean, Polyphony, they're famous for not finishing stuff on time. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't if we get like a GT7 prologue and 7 actually comes out at the end.
That needs some more time in the oven, man. Let me tell you. Oh God.
But that one was kind of like a letdown. But hey, I predicted there was going to be something Spider-Man.
You did. I'll give you that. Damn it.
I mean, it wasn't really a big prediction because Spider-Man 2 was a given. But
well, no, to be fair, it was because there was no guarantee we'd see it. Because I'm be honest with you, I didn't expect to see anything. Now, it was a CGI, it wasn't much, but I did not even expect them to talk about because they don't even actually have to. You know, they don't. It's fairly early. I mean, we're 2 years.
They actually confirmed that's not CGI, by the way. That's in
in-game.
In-game, yeah.
Even still, that's even better. That's even better.
Yeah,
I know the game's gonna look great. Like, I'm not even concerned with that. I'm just saying that it wasn't necessary that they even show it. Right. So I think that's what surprised me. Go ahead, Fuss. My bad.
Well, no, I kind of had an inkling that they would show it, especially with the movie coming out later this year. They wanted to have some sort of tie-in and get people excited for the game and the movie, have all that synergy going. But man, we need to get rid of these Sony insiders because it don't seem like they know a bit of anything as far as what's coming down the pipeline. Oh yeah, where's Metal Gear or Silent Hill or even Abandoned for that matter? But lo and behold, they came out of left field with something that I don't think anybody saw. And I think about the only one that came close to it, and he probably had like inside info anyway, and was sworn to secrecy, was Jason Schreier when he was like, yeah, they're going to have, multiple superheroes or superheroes, plural. And a lot of people were kind of like, oh, they probably mean Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think they showed again as well. But it was like having Wolverine, that caught my attention. Now, I have no idea what the gameplay is going to be like. Like Spider-Man, we already know what the gameplay is like based on the 2018. It's going to be interesting to see how Insomniac handles that. But if anybody can do it, Insomniac sure as heck can. So, kudos to those guys. We called them wizards before. Yeah, those guys, I know people are going to get at us about this, but they're carrying Sony right now. And as far as the excitement, it's like not a knock against Santa Monica or even Naughty Dog. It just seems like Insomniac just hit the ground running from get-go. It's like they're and they have less devs. Like, people have been doing like employee counts. I think they're in the mid to upper 200s, while Naughty Dog and Santa Monica is like in the 300 range each. So I don't know, wizards, but nonetheless, that was the big thing about the show. And then they had the show God of War, which, if they didn't, I think there would have been a riot and pitchforks and stuff. Although, Wolverine would have probably held off some of the people. But God of War, good to see it at the show. I know that there's some controversy on some of the characters and whatnot, but hey, I like what I saw and look forward to pre-ordering it, I guess 2023, 24 or something like that. But we'll get more info later. But overall, good show. Was it an E3 level show? I guess, especially since they haven't really shown us anything in 2 years. So this was I won't say anything because they showed the PS5, but as far as like a roadmap, this was a good start. Not quite the full start I was expecting because, expecting to see something from Ben and a few others, but a good show overall. Excited for a lot of the games that are there. Already put in some pre-orders on some of the stuff that was there. Well, not stuff that was there, but stuff that's coming sooner, like Sifu is already up for order and whatnot. So, but yeah, pretty happy with the show. We'll get into some more details later on that.
Awesome.
But that's my initial thoughts on it.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion, and get your opinion, man. Did you catch the show? And just when you caught the show, what'd you just think of the overall event and how it went, and just what were your initial impressions?
God, everybody was probably like Centurion and watch a show, right?
No, come on.
No, I wanted to tune in. I actually came home, flipped it on, came home from work. My wife is like in the middle of cooking dinner. I just come home and start watching a PlayStation event, and God, I just take over the TV. I wanted to see what it was going to be shown. I was actually genuinely intrigued. Pong said it earlier, having Jim Ryan on there please get rid of the used car salesman. Jim Ryan is a swordsman with the pen. He knows how to sign those really good deals. Like we're talking KOTOR, Marvel. We're talking very exciting franchises that he is signing up on the PlayStation brand. It's stuff for us to all celebrate and be excited for, because I mean, we're going to be able to play these experiences one day when we all get our hardware. But he definitely needs to get out of the camera, because I don't feel the energy and passion for the brand. Like, I really feel like I would be surprised if he even knew how to actually play a game, let alone turn a PS5 on. And I'm not saying that as a diss. He just doesn't come off as the guy that goes home at night and plays some PS5. But what was shown at the show, I mean, totally did not see Wolverine coming. Very awesome IP. I can see why they're going that route. I go deep because I'm heavy in the movie stuff. Fox sat on the X-Men franchise for so long that it rotted, and the movies that they put out were very lackluster. And I know that Disney is looking to hit reset on the X-Men franchise, and I really do think that this is going to be a very good start for that, especially with Wolverine. I'm how the hell do you top Hugh Jackman at this point? I do not know.
I agree.
Huh?
No, I said I agree. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, he has played Wolverine in so many different variations of the character Wolverine in so many different movies, and it's just like he is Wolverine. I mean, he embodies Wolverine quite well, and he portrays the character very well. And anyways, totally loved what I saw with Spider-Man. Obviously they're going the route with Venom, because we know Venom is another character that's really been coming up in the Marvel universe, getting some good screen time. So of course they're going to introduce Venom. There's a lot of titles like with KOTOR. Now, what I said in the pre-chat though is we're seeing it seems almost like Sony wants to focus really heavily on franchise, on ideas that either already exist or that have already been established. You know, the Marvel universe already existed. The characters in them already existed. It doesn't seem like they want to focus too heavily on some of the other great IPs that they have, like Uncharted. We're getting a PS5 remaster and a port to PC. I think I would also like to see an Uncharted game come out. I love the character of Drake and everything that universe has to offer. I'm not going to nitpick the PlayStation show too heavily. I was happy with what I got. I'm looking forward to what we are all going to be able to experience. And I'm also one of those that was completely mind blown over KOTOR, and I'll sign me up. I'll buy KOTOR on PS5, and when it comes out on Xbox Series X, I'm going to buy KOTOR and play it again there. KOTOR was an absolutely awesome game. Pong now has me wondering, are we getting one game or both games? Oh my God, if we got both games, you'd never see me again. There's a lot to be excited for as gamers. Let's not just totally nitpick because honestly, it was over there on the blue side and it's not over here on the green side. This is all the competition that we need to basically drive the conversations to keep gaming marching forward. Let's also all realize right now that the Marvel is thriving in the gaming industry. It's really good to see the gaming industry has found a leg up in a very heavy niche. And it's not just something that people go home and play video games in their basements and blah, 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 and everything that the stereotypical gamer gets associated with. We are talking franchises that cost millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, that have a lot of mind share. And it's good to see that gaming is pulling itself out of something that is associated with being a hobby for either younger or immature people.
No, absolutely. Everything you said was 100% accurate. Let me go ahead and do a couple quick shout outs again before we kind of elaborate on all of that. Shout out to Caitlin, shout out to Bacon, everybody here in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Once again, hit the like button. Appreciate you guys so much, man. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself here. Once again, let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live. We're here. We're talking Sony. We're talking PlayStation Showcase, man. We're going to dive into this a little bit more right now. I just kind of wanted to get our high level overview of what we kind of all thought about the event. Let us know, chat. Once again, we love engaging with you guys. Let us know what you guys thought about the event as well, what you like, what you dislike, kind of where things are at. So I'm gonna elaborate a little bit more on something more specific that came out of, or essentially after, the Sony showcase, and this is the Marvel elephant in the room, the superhero elephant in the room that seemed to be a big thing right after the event was over. Now, the reason being, obviously, because Insomniac does Spider-Man. We've seen the success of Spider-Man. I believe it sold 20 million copies. I don't know if that includes Miles Morales. I don't think that includes Miles Morales. So it was, I think, the most. I think it sold the most out of any PlayStation exclusive last generation, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was the highest selling game. So on the piggyback of that success, we get a Wolverine. Now, some people in the community immediately were triggered by this, immediately, right away. Oh my God, Wolverine, there's no superhero game on Xbox as we know. So that kind of posed the question to people, is this something that Xbox need? And I want to kind of key in on a thing here. The key word is need. The key word is need. Need is based on what the individual thinks, what the individual person thinks. So it's very hard to, but I think need is going to be the key word here. So I'll just go ahead and get my opinion out of the way. I think need is the wrong word. I don't think Xbox necessarily needs a superhero game. Does it fit the catalog? Will it round things out? Will we be able to say, hey, we got a superhero game? Which I think that's the angle that most people are coming from. A lot of it stems from the, throwing rocks back and forth on the front porch kind of deal. They got something that we don't got, ha, ha, ha. Now we need that too. So we can say, look, we got one. That may be the case, but is it a necessity? Not quite. When you really look at the roadmap, see what we got coming up. I mean, there's probably 15 IPs that were revealed that we haven't played yet. Next year is even better than this year. The year after that is possibly better than 2020. Like, it's going to be crazy. So I don't know if need is there. Now, there are some things like we talked about, the whole WB thing with Batman. Does it make sense? Yeah. I mean, why not? I guess why not grab one? It makes sense for the catalog. It'd be nice to see or have a superhero on Xbox. That's kind of fun. I think a lot of people would like it. I think need is kind of the key word, but we'll dive into this a little bit more. We're actually going to start with you on this one, Fuzz. We talked about this a couple days ago, right after the event. Me and you were texting back and forth like crazy about this. So, I mean, where are you at on the whole superhero? Does Xbox need that or not? And let us know too, chat.
All right. So as far as the word need, does Xbox need it? No, they don't need it. Should they have a superhero? I think so. Although it's really now going to be a tough question on who or what, series of superheroes or whatnot. Like, just me thinking outside the box kind of thing, I would almost rather see, if they're going to get something from Marvel, the easy pickings right now, as far as ones that are pretty popular that would make sense, would either be, like Black Panther or Iron Man. Originally, X-Men or the Hulk makes sense, Hulk being green, X-Men because Xbox. But I think as far as what's popular right now, those between Iron Man and Black Panther, those would probably be on the forefront. Now, on the WB front of things, I would say and I know they tried, because it came down to the licensing where you couldn't buy the licensing. You would have to pretty much request the licensing. Like, you would get like first refusal rights or something like that when they were coming down to the whole negotiations on WB. But I think the price without that license was a little steeper than what Xbox thought was worthwhile. But in the grand scheme of things, they really don't need it. But oh man, it would be awesome if they had, something, whether it be Batman. I mean, Batman would be a good fit. Punisher would be an awesome fit. Like, a lot of people would love to see. Yeah, because let's be real. Xbox got the nickname Shooter Box for a reason. And something like the Punisher, yeah, I think that would be the go-to mascot as far as if you're going to get a superhero. It would make sense. But Xbox being what Xbox is, I almost want something where it would be in the vein of the mutants type of thing, and you kind of create your own superhero. And yes, some of the characters from Marvel appear in it on occasion, but it would make so much more sense if you had like a main power, secondary power, and like let's say a cooldown power or something, and you could either choose to be good or bad, and you could rob banks and blow up stores or terrify the citizens. And then you're almost like the way Forza does with their driver tar system. Your friends list, whatever heroes they created, depending on if they're on the bad side or good side, they may make random appearances in your game. Or you could just do co-op, or you could do PvP. It would be like, all right, you can be the good guy, I can be the bad guy, and we can see how we can, like, if you can stop me from blowing up the city or something. I think Xbox being how they want to be different, that would be a totally different approach. Yeah, it may not be as popular initially, announcing something like, hey, you create your own superhero type of deal, but I think that would make more sense for Xbox, because I don't want to just use the term like, oh, it's inclusive and all that, but it's like Xbox is about like online and playing with friends, and that to me would make more sense. I mean, unless they're going to get X-Men, but then Wolverine going on PlayStation, that's going to be a little tricky at that point. But I think that would be more of an idea for Xbox if they don't get like Black Panther or Iron Man or any of the DC characters and things like that. Like at one point, I almost thought they were going to have like Winter Soldier with all that, co-marketing with Disney and stuff. It seemed like, hey, maybe we'll get Winter Soldier, but I don't know. I don't think they need it. It'd be cool because it doesn't have to be like for like as far as compared to PlayStation, but I think it's worthwhile having that draw. You don't want to just have one platform have superheroes and you have nothing that's at least on that level. Yes, you have your own main characters, like you have Master Chief, Marcus, and things like that, but PlayStation has their own main characters as well that aren't superheroes. So it just seems like you want to have some balance, but continue doing your plan of a lot of these new IPs that are totally different from your competition. But it doesn't hurt, like Cog says, to have at least just one at least, type of thing. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
And I want to make sure we're putting this in proper perspective. And like Fuzz said, and we're echoing here, everybody listen out there. It's not. I think need is the key word here. Do they with the lineup? And you can go online right now. I have the picture saved. I just put it up on Twitter I think yesterday at some point, the roadmap for both companies, and Xbox is stacked. They're stacked with games, and I don't even know, like if there's even a I don't even know if there's a necessity, to even think about that right now, just due to everything that's on their plate. When you look at that roadmap, you're like, wow, I don't even know if anything else can fit at this current, like realistically, like we're talking about just from a logistics standpoint, Fuzz, not even, pie in the sky. Like they could go get a game made right now or go make a deal right now, and obviously maybe that would change a lot of people's opinions. But I mean, from a logistics standpoint, like I don't even know if they have time to even consider that right now. Maybe they do. I'm assuming Phil's looked at that. I mean, they're all smart people.
Yeah.
I don't know how far that reach goes, but I'm assuming that's something they've looked at.
Yeah. I mean, all things considered, I think they looked at WB beforehand, but considering like the roadmap, even if they just release 4 games a year of their first party, then they have at least 3 or 4 years worth of IPs that we may not even fully get to in that time frame. Even if they stepped it up to, let's say, 6 first party releases a year, they still have at least 2 full years of stuff that they have announced. And we all know there's about 5 or 6 things that are still in the works currently that haven't been announced, and then the stuff that will continue on from there. So adding a superhero into the mix, that's something that might be 4 or 5 years out if they're not already working on something. Where does it fit? Where do you bump, the next Forza or not the next Horizon, a season or like a quarter or something like that to fit it in there? Or do you double up and have like your next Wolfenstein and the superhero thing release at the same time? So it's definitely a full stack as far as what they have now. But yeah, from my perspective, they don't need, but it'd be nice. I don't even necessarily need to play it, but it would be nice just for the fact that it's there. And it's like, if they get Black Panther, like right now, I think the way a lot of people feel about Black Panther going into like the Square Enix game, a lot of people picked it up again. And that was like, even though they didn't completely change the game, but enough people went back to it to at least play through that part of the campaign. That's worth something. So if you can draw more eyes that aren't already playing Xbox over to Xbox, by all means, look into it, make it happen. Necessary? No, but it'd be just more icing on the cake.
Got it. So I want to, and She Snow, shout out to She Snow Elite in the chat. He highlighted this, and I want to make sure before you go, Pong, I want to make sure we kind of take this into perspective. Xbox didn't have a lot of their third party, the agreements or just partnerships last generation didn't really work out. Like a lot of them didn't really work out well. So I think another thing that's something that we got to consider. That's why they invested so heavily in first party. So I think just the need to have to go do stuff like that. There's no need to go outside, look over the fence and find somebody else to do it. So I just think that plays a factor into it too. But go ahead, Pong. I just want you to get your opinion on this superhero thing, man. People are running, in the streets on Twitter. Going crazy about this, is it necessary? Is it not? Does it matter? We should hold their feet to the fire and demand more for our dollars. Is it just kind of a reactionary thing? Because because it kind of feels like it too, in a way. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm bullish on this. So first of all, let me explain my perspective. Need can be taken many different ways, like you said.
Yes,
is it a need that Xbox, if they don't get one, they're dead? No, of course not. Xbox is going to be just fine. In fact, their chances are they'll still dominate this generation just on sheer content alone, like you were talking about, PTK. So no, from that need perspective, no. Also, let me again reiterate that I am not a superhero super fan by any stretch of the imagination. Again, Fox ruined X-Men. X-Men was my main superhero that I loved, along with Spawn, a group of superheroes, I should say. But once they ruined it, my passion for superheroes in general just dipped dramatically. I don't watch the MCUs. I've watched some of them, but they're not a big thing to me. So I'm coming from a perspective is totally outside of this. I don't need a superhero game in my life, unless it's a full-fledged, brand new, uncanny X-Men. Okay, and they go back to the old school. Then I'll say, okay, I'm back in. But right now, I will say it's a need from a business standpoint. Okay, and I'm being bullish on this. And I know there's people. Again, this is not about Xbox having an exclusive just so we can say we have one because Sony gets to say they have one. It's none of that nonsense. I could care less about any of that garbage. Okay, that's for the circus. That's for the clowns. I don't care. It's got nothing to do with any of that. Nor is this about Xbox chasing Sony and having to do what Sony does in any way, shape, or form. No, in fact, Sony is chasing Xbox right now because they are so far behind Xbox in so many different areas. They are now chasing them. Again, a lot of what we didn't see at this show, we're going to see down the line. They're going to be bringing out games as a service games. They're going to be bringing out first-person shooters. Why? Because they know they have to have those games because Xbox is killing them. And if it's a need for them in their lineup, in their diversity of content. Now, Xbox has a fantastic and diverse amount of content, not only already in Game Pass, but coming, right? We know the roadmap, parts of the roadmap. We even haven't seen the full roadmap, but we know a lot of it, and we can see what's coming. However, in this time and point, I'm not about chasing trends, but this superhero trend is here to stay. The superhero trend, along with the anime trend, all these trends that you're currently seeing, they are here to stay. We used to get a lot of different licensed IP games, right? And back in the day, it was hit or miss, and most of the time it was a miss. Most of the time, licensed IP
they were
sucked.
not good. Yeah, they were not good.
Right? And so for a long time, everybody stopped doing licensed IP. We are now seeing a resurgence of that. And there's a reason behind it, because partly because of Insomniac and the success that they had, obviously with Spider-Man, has driven a lot of this, especially on the Sony side of things. If you get it done right, it's done well, it's successful. Batman.
To hammer home your point, I wouldn't be surprised if Disney didn't go to Insomniac if it wasn't the other way around.
And it's certainly possible that relationship has definitely blossomed because of the success that Insomniac's had. Again, I understand that, but we do have other people out there. The Batman franchise actually was the first under Rocksteady.
True.
broke through.
True.
And then you've got Monolith that handled the Lord of the Rings IP extremely well. Again, different genre, not comic books, not superhero, but again, a licensed IP. Yes, correct. So that has driven the narrative, along with the fact that Netflix is now taking from the video game industry and turning them into huge shows. Okay, so now we have this great relationship between two different industries that is working out well because of the popularity of these genres. If you do this well, you have a surefire hit on your hands. Again, it's a big if. You got to have the right team, got to have the right idea, and it's got to work. But if you pull it off, it's a big hit for everybody. It's a big win. Netflix didn't need anime, okay? Netflix could have left that to Crunchyroll and Funimation and just let them handle it. Netflix would still be fine to this day. What did they do? They looked over and said, you know what? That's missing out of our lineup. When people come to subscribe to Netflix, why don't we get to offer them some anime? What are they doing? They're not only picking up IPs and getting certain franchises, they're going out and creating their own animation studios now to start developing that anime. Why? Because again, it's another offering for people on their subscription. Who else has a subscription? Xbox has a subscription service now. It's called Game Pass. It's the main vehicle. It's the driving force moving forward, trying to get 2 billion, 3 billion customers involved. Yes, they have their big franchises. Others Inc. points out constantly that Microsoft already has billion-dollar franchises. Sony needs to get those billion-dollar franchises. You're absolutely correct, Zinc. You're absolutely 100%. They already have those. But why not go get a piece of the pie that currently is extremely hot, doesn't have any signs of fizzling out whatsoever? Even if it slows down, you're still talking about a major draw for people. And we're not talking about the hardcore gamers. We're not talking about the people that sit here in this community and talk video games and tweet about video games. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the mainstream people. Is it only the hardcore fans that are going out for Sony and buying Spider-Man? Absolutely not. There's kids asking their parents at the time, 2018, to go buy them a PlayStation 4 so they could play Spider-Man because their friends were playing Spider-Man. Superheroes are still a giant dream for the younger audiences. Even if we do get adult themed superhero movies now and games now, that's great. That's perfect. That's the way it should be. There should be some mature stuff in there as well for all of those of us who grew up on it. However, it's still a major draw for the younger audience. And again, that's why I say you go do this. That's why I'm bullish on this. Phil has talked about the need for more for kid-friendly titles. Guess what? You can't find a more kid-friendly title that draws in a lot of people's eyes, including adults, than a superhero done right. And I'm not talking about like the anti-heroes, the Blades and the Spawns. I want those. The Punisher would be absolutely incredible. I'm talking about going and get an Iron Man. Okay. You go get an Iron Man and you do it right. Go ahead. Go sign some people from BioWare or what's left over there that did Anthem flying. Bring them on over. They proved. Exactly. They proved that you can do a flying mechanic that is perfect for Iron Man. Bring them over and have them show you how to do it. And all of a sudden you got the main part of Iron Man done. And then you go ahead and just build out the rest around it. But man, Iron Man would draw in a lot of people, including children. I think that you have to go do this. And I think you've got an opportunity right now. Again, you missed the mark. You've missed the curve. You missed on Insomniac all those years ago. We know the story. There's a bunch of reasons behind it, but you missed out on that team. Okay. No crying over spilt milk. It's one of those things. They're doing fantastic. Insomniac is Sony right now. So great. Fantastic. Guess what? Because you missed out on that curve, you can get ahead of the curve right now. You got a lot of teams. They all got their hands full. And again, we'd already know Xbox is in the position where they're saying these teams are going to make whatever they want to make. So go ahead, go to your teams, go to all 35 teams and say, hey, is anybody here who has any interest in working on a licensed IP? If any of them raise their hands, go ahead, go. You know, what IP would you guys like to work on? Do you guys got some interesting stories that you think of that you want to put out there? You got a pitch for us? Let them do that. That's fine. If they want to do it, great. If they don't, you go overpay WB, AT&T, Discovery, whoever the hell owns those studios over there. You go buy them. Okay, I don't care. You make them an offer they can't refuse. You've got the money. You overspend. You bring in Rocksteady. You bring in Monolith. Of course, I want NetherRealm. That's a whole different thing. That's fighting genre, but they do great with licenses too. Love to have them over here for different reasons. But you go get Rocksteady. You go get Monolith. Two teams that despite all the turmoil over there, despite not having unlimited resources, despite being under the gun a lot of times over at WB, You bring them in and you give them the freedom, you give them the resources, you might have yourself one, maybe even two Insomniacs now. And you go to ask them, what do you want? Do you want to continue to work on Batman, Rocksteady? You do? Fantastic. DC, name your price. Cut the check, get that IP. Instantaneous success, instantaneous headlines, instantaneous draw. Okay? Nonstop. Let's say Monolith comes out and says, you know what, we don't want to work on Lord of the Rings anymore, but you know, we'd love to work on a Superman. We'd love to work on an Iron Man. We'd love to work on a Blade. Great. Go pay for it. Bring it in. Okay. It's instantaneous. You automatically have two teams you know can be successful. You take a lot of the risk. Yes, there's still a lot of risk there, but you take a lot of the risk out of the factor by doing that. You bring them in, you have them start producing immediately. And then I say that you go even further down the road, because I think licensing and these licensed IPs is a growing market right now, especially if people continue to be successful. I think that Xbox now owns the Western RPGs. They own the racers. They own the first-person shooters. I think you create another set of studios that simply works on licensed IPs. That's what they love to do. That's what they want to do. And you start looking down the road at the future roadmaps of these movie companies and seeing what's coming out. How great would it have been that somebody jumped on board with the Matrix coming out this year and giving us a new Matrix game? How great would that have been? A really good Matrix game right around the time of the movie? Man, that would have been fantastic. I think that's what you start looking at right now, and you build that roadmap through there, and you get ahead of the curve that way. And I think that you have a chance to just add more value to Game Pass. When people start looking at Game Pass, yes, we all know 400 games plus. It's incredible value, but I'm talking about the average consumer who over the next 2 years, as we start getting inventory, are really going to start making decisions. Many of them are going to be one console owner families. And you start putting that lineup out there and they start looking down the list of Game Pass games and they're like, okay, cool. I get my Starfield. Oh, awesome. Elder Scrolls is on there. You know, got Halo. Oh, sweet, man. All of a sudden you go, wait, I get Iron Man? I get Iron Man on Game Pass? Are you kidding me right now? That's that extra. That's that extra stuff. So again, they don't need it from the standpoint. They're not going to fail. They're not going to go out of business. Sony isn't going to all of a sudden crush them just because they got superheroes. None of that BS. This is just simply business. I think you need to go do it because it just makes all the damn sense in the world right now with where everything's at, that you have to add that to your complete catalog in order to make sure that when somebody's looking at it and making that decision, you have that checked off in there. That's my point. So I'm bullish.
Well, no, listen. I get the whole take of that. Like, I completely understand the whole take. Now, I'm not so much into superhero games, so I'm a lot less bullish. But you damn near sold me on that whole idea. I'm not gonna lie, Paul.
And like I said, I'm not into superhero games either. PTK. This is just straightly just looking at from business standpoint. Again, take it or leave it. I don't need them in my catalog, but I'm just saying, if you take a step back, it makes sense.
But this may be all in jest. The reason I'm saying that is because we don't know what it feels like when they announce Elder Scrolls exclusive.
Oh yeah,
we haven't gotten that feel. So
that's gonna be huge.
So that's what I'm saying. Like it's gonna feel silly to ask for that when we get an Elder Scrolls and we see console exclusive across the screen. That's gonna feel different. Like, are we still asking that same question then? Like, I don't know. I mean, and once again, these things go back and forth. I 100% agree with you, Pong. I really, really do. As far as like, you might as well. There's almost no reason not to, right? Like when you consider it, there's really not a reason not to take a chance and go get one of those licenses. And they're doing it. I mean, with the whole Indiana Jones, we don't know it. That's not quite Marvel, but things are starting to go that direction. So we'll see. But I think the timing of all of this. And I think that a lot of it's really Insomniac, and I want to make sure we give them the credit as well because I feel like they could just handpick any Marvel character they feel like, and Disney would have been 100% fine with them making a game. I just think they did so well with Spider-Man, and I think it even exceeded Sony's and Disney's expectations as far as the quality of the game as well as the amount of people that went out and actually bought it. But I feel you, Pong. I really do. It's such a tough question to ask. Because it almost sounds like we're ungrateful it almost sounds a little ungrateful, but no, I
But if you come from that standpoint, yes. If you were just simply whining to whine, and if you just want to, get another, bullet in your gun to shoot over at the Sony side of things, yeah. I mean, that's when it gets petty. If it's, you know what I'm saying? I understand
I'm not even coming from that standpoint.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, even if you didn't know anything about what we were talking about, like, you not necessarily didn't know anything, but just knowing what we know as far as what's on the calendar, it almost on the surface seems that way.
Yeah,
like it's almost like we're talking about it like we ain't gonna have a bunch of shit to play. But I understand where you're coming from.
I mean, we got the ice cream, we want the cherry and the sprinkle.
Please, no, man, no. And that's not where it comes from. And I understand why some people take it that when I saw that response, even from some Xbox people saying, "Why are Xbox people whining about the superhero thing right now?" I get it. You can look at it from a perspective and say we're being ungrateful, but at the same time, no, man. Again, I'm taking it from the business standpoint, but of course, if you're going to ask me straight out, do I want Microsoft to go out and buy more studios and acquire more things before Game Pass? Absolutely. I'm a Game Pass subscriber. Of course I do. I want more in there. I've got plenty, but I want more. So I think, that's okay too. So.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah. Go ahead. We'll throw this over to Centurion. Make sure we get your opinion, brother, on this whole, you're the superhero, and is it a necessity? And like I said, the key word here, the active word is need, and that's kind of different. Everybody interprets that different depending on how they feel about the company. So just where you at on the superhero, is that something that needs to just be part of the portfolio?
See, I think you really hit the nail on the head, especially with what you just said. Do they need it do they need it to survive? No, they could survive very well without it. They don't need to do stuff like this. Xbox has actually found a very unique way of doing things by letting developers do the IPs that they want to do. But that being said, is this something that needs to be added to the portfolio? Yes. Regardless of, watching in the chat, regardless
of surprised that you're no, I'm not gonna say I'm surprised, but I just that's a little bit surprising. So go ahead. I kind of
the reason why I say portfolios, I'm like Pong, from a business perspective. You would be a fool to not acknowledge the fact that there is money there to be made and there's mind share there to be made. Is it silly and petty that yes, like having something as simple as a Marvel character on your console could create mind share? Yeah. It comes down to see, I feel Marvel characters really shouldn't be locked down, in my opinion, but that's just because this is not something that should be exclusive. These are IPs that it's not like let's really ask, did Stan Lee really want back in the day with his comic book? So I want it sold over here and over here, but that guy isn't allowed to sell it. I don't really think if that goes to the image of what Stan Lee wanted done with a lot of his characters and to be used as pawns in some kind of convoluted console war.
I don't think that's the way things are being portrayed, though. I mean, I think we are as gamers portray things. That's us doing that. That's not the devs or even, because at the end of the day, you understand even more than I do. It's business.
It is business, but that's where if I created a character, I would want that character to be on as many platforms as possible to influence as many people as possible, because there is a lot of relatable characters in the Marvel universe alone. And I just don't really agree with the locking down thing. I don't know if Microsoft agrees with that. I know Sony definitely loves locking stuff down. But now let's just accept the fact that regardless of how I feel, it is something that works. It is something that is very popular. It is something that is known to make a lot of money. So locking these IPs down is just something we've grown accustomed to. And Microsoft, I guess, would have to have it in their portfolio. I mean, everybody talked about how Microsoft really needed to do some RPGs and some other games. And by buying, Bethesda, they were able to put a kind of a notch on, like, these are some of the games we create now. But that's where there is a demand out there for people that want these entertainment style games, as I'm pretty much calling them. They want games that are rooted in pop culture and entertainment, and they want to play as some of their favorite characters. And to deny that the demand is not there is beyond me. There is a demand there. Microsoft should just do it, just because it is something that would add to the portfolio. It is something that Microsoft needs to survive. No, Microsoft does not need this. But at the same time, in my mind, I'm looking at, there's a lot of stuff going on with the Iron Man character right now, because they're switching Robert Downey Jr. out of the role. There's a lot of stuff going on within the Marvel universe. A lot of stuff I've been seeing pop up lately, though, on characters that are getting ready to come back into the spotlight, like Blade. Yeah. I mean, I am ready to see Blade finally get acknowledged as part of the Marvel universe. I mean, my God, I remember being in the 8th grade watching the original Blade movie, and there wasn't no Marvel banner at the front of the video letting you know he was a Marvel character. I didn't find out till way later in life that he was a Marvel character.
Yeah.
And we're seeing some popularity with vampires all of a sudden starting to pop up, especially on the Xbox side with a very good current game. What was the name of it again?
Redfall?
Redfall. There we go. We're seeing some popularity pop up with vampires. Redfall, as a matter of fact, I think even a vampire game was advertised on the PlayStation show for
Blood
Vampires
Hunt.
Yeah, Blood Hunt. So I really could see maybe Xbox isn't wanting an established character, because there is a lot of money behind them. There's a lot of, oh, you better do my character right or I'm going to lose my mind. What if by some chance Xbox really did do a Blade or a Punisher, or like a character that does have a following but doesn't have like this established model of who this character should be right now, because it's just been so long since that character has been used. We don't really know what the future holds when it comes to the Marvel universe. And, you know, Xbox has proven that they can keep a lid on certain things, and you never know. They could come out of left field with something that completely blows our mind.
Good point. And like I said, this may be all in jest, considering we haven't seen really this is the tip of the iceberg. We haven't really seen a lot of these games that we know are coming down the line. The Avoweds, the Starfields, the Elder Scrolls, all the other stuff in between that as well. So we'll get to see a little more. And this all might just be in jest, because once we start seeing those other games, I can't say that the need won't be as maybe high as it currently is. You know, as far as people feeling like, hey, we need those games on a platform. But I do agree. I mean, there's an easy answer for both sides. I mean, the answer for the obvious, people that want is yes. Why not do it? Right. That's the obvious.
Right. And that's why we obviously see Marvel is getting very comfort in the nest over in PlayStation. So we could see DC say, hey, we're wanting to find a home too. And we could see, in my opinion, I think it would probably maybe interest Xbox more to maybe go for the DC characters, just to create some differentiation in the gaming space, because we see Disney getting very comfy with PlayStation, which means we've seen Xbox get their hands burned by third-party deals.
Well,
somebody mentioned that
Xbox
earlier.
Is getting comfy too. They got the Sea of Thieves thing, then obviously the
Indiana Jones.
the Indiana Jones.
I really hope that comes to fruit. I mean, like, I'm glad you brought that up, because what if that was exclusive? I'm going to be upfront. Dude,
I mean, because the whole idea about, like, nobody even consider, because a lot of people are saying, well, that can't be excluded. There's no possible way it is, because it's but seeing that Wolverine, I mean, that makes it a little bit more legitimate.
That Wolverine commercial totally changed my mind on the exclusivity.
Yeah, mine too.
Because I mean, and now that's where, again, we're seeing where Wolverine has been used a lot heavier than the Indiana Jones character. So that's where I think if I had to have Wolverine in one hand, Indiana Jones in the other, which one are you going to play first? I think I would lean on Indiana Jones.
I don't know. I think a lot of people would take Wolverine.
Well, that's where I did come out and say I wanted to see Uncharted. What if Insomniac came out and said, "Hey, look at the game we're working on"? I didn't see Wolverine coming, and I was actually wanting an Uncharted, and that's where I think I would lean more towards the Indiana Jones thing because, I mean, somebody put it in the chat. I really hope they're not going to take some stuff that worked in Spider-Man and throw that on top of the Wolverine game just because it was there.
Well, another thing people got to, and I saw this, and we're gonna go ahead and keep pushing the topic along too. What's up, chat? I want to give some quick shout outs. I saw Abba in here. What's up, Cyber Gunter? What's up, Neo GameSpark? My guy jumped in here. What's up, John Mark? Appreciate the super chat as well. Thank you. I did see that, by the way, sir. So thank you for that. Just everybody in here watching live, appreciate you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you have not. But I do agree with you on that particular point. And Neo, I'm actually throw you to assist on this one. He made a video talking about this as well. So I want to get to you. One quick question for us before we kind of bounce to another quick topic here and then wrap things up. So essentially about this whole superhero thing for us. I know me and you've been talking about this since the Sony event.
Yeah.
Now, is this going to be? Can you foresee this being something that, like, Xbox is going to shoehorn in, not just shoehorn in, but do you think because of this is something that Xbox is going to now seriously consider, or do you feel like this may be something that's already on Phil's list?
To be honest, I think it's something that's already on Phil's list. This might just give it that little extra push. Like I said earlier, I think the WB thing was that push. And, they couldn't make things mesh up as far as, I guess, the licensing and the money, but now it might be more of like, hey, let's revisit it, see where they're at, see what the numbers are, if they're the same or lower or what have you. I honestly think there was already something in the works. Maybe not, Wolverine level, but then again, some people view Batman as higher than Wolverine. So I could totally see something like this will already have been being in the works. And the WB deal, I think, was this, and it might still be something that, even though they don't own the WB, they may say, you know what, well, we'll just pay for the game. And until we can figure out what the licensing looks like or whatnot and see if it's worthwhile buying the license and stuff. So I can totally see it just kind of maybe affecting that existing deal or stuff that they've worked on in the past. So I don't think it'll be like a knee-jerk reaction, but Phil, I'm pretty sure, as we've seen him kind of step by step kind of work on each area that they, has been pointed out as a quote unquote weakness of Xbox from last generation. And I could totally see him looking at this from, Spider-Man 2018 and being like, hey, this is why the WB would be a good fit.
Yeah.
Let's make this happen. Couldn't make it happen at the time, but, they're still, I'm pretty sure, up for sale. And hey, maybe the pocketbook is a little looser this time as far as what they'll be willing to spend, or maybe they go at it as, hey, let's just do this one game deal. If it works, we buy it. If it doesn't work, hey, no harm, no foul. And it'll be less money out of their pocket where they're not having to spend billions just to acquire something that they don't necessarily fully own. So yeah. I think that's where it is. And I don't think it's like, oh, he saw the news and it's like, damn it, I got to go do this now. No, I think he was already doing that. And a lot of people in the industry, like as far as at his level and stuff, I'm pretty sure they're kind of aware of what's going on.
Yeah,
in
I
the
would
background,
think so too.
Especially after you just, negotiate a Indiana Jones deal. I'm pretty sure there's somebody like, oh yeah, well, the blue team was here the other day, and yeah, this one's off the list for you guys right now. Oh, darn it! So it's like I'm pretty sure they kind of know what's going on there, and I'm pretty sure he was already working on something.
Yeah, there's a chance, but once again, keyword being need here, people. So just make your own mind up about what that means. I mean, it's just easier to start from there rather than just argue back and forth about it. I mean, that's got to be the starting point of this argument as far as these superhero games. But I want to get to something else, well, that kind of I thought about as I watched the Sony event, and that's just ultimately what Sony was able to accomplish in that, and what are we looking at this event as? Okay, because like I said before, this event was the Sony event. We don't know if we're getting another one, a PSX or anything like that. So, did it for you did it achieve what you think did it achieve? Let us know, chat, as far as well, like, were you satisfied as a consumer? Take your fanboy pajamas off. We're not looking at it from that standpoint. as a consumer, did this achieve what you thought it should have to get you to buy a PS5? So we're going to start with you on this one, Centurion. I mean, you already have a PS5, so excluding the people that have one, but did it, as an owner of a PS5, going forward, were you satisfied with what you saw?
Yes. Definitely looking forward to all the experiences that we're going to be able to enjoy. It definitely shows why I call the PlayStation ecosystem the place of like entertainment. I mean, if you love those blockbuster experiences, whether it's in their first party franchises or in the deals that they sign up and get these IPs like Spider-Man and Wolverine, I'm really looking forward to what they're putting out. I mean, let's admit it, there's always been a polish and a quality to PlayStation games that has always kind of been PlayStation's thing. I enjoyed Days Gone. I enjoyed a vast majority of their first party games. So I'm looking forward to what's coming out for PlayStation. What more could you ask for? You know, it's just going to drive competition. Like we have a very great conversation going on now about how Xbox needs this, Xbox needs that, and then there's also the conversation of what's needed over on the PlayStation side.
True.
I really do think it's gonna create competition that's gonna benefit us all.
True. I want to highlight that point about, obviously this is a two-way street. I know we like to look at it just from our singular standpoint of view most times, but this is absolutely a two-way street, because both, you can make if you really want to do it, you can make a laundry list of the holes in each's, catalog, so to speak, right? I think we can all realistically sit down and say, okay, well, what does Sony not have, or what does Xbox not have, and come up with a list of a few things that will definitely round out the catalog. So to be fair here, I think if we look at it from that perspective, and I'm glad you brought that up, Centurion, that's really a good way to kind of like keep even keel on this. So, and I know you talked about this as well. Shout out to Neo. His video, he talked about I believe it was a Q&A. Talked about a lot of these different things as well. So shout out to you too, bro. But we'll go ahead and throw this over to you, Pong. So I know you said, you kind of touched on this a little bit when we first kind of started, about you were satisfied, what's going on. You're kind of in a good spot, as far as when you want to get to, the KOTOR sold you. They could have stopped right there. You would have been so, but even still knowing that, going forward, where you at? Just, down the line, even getting the KOTOR minus that, like, where would you have been? Say you weren't a KOTOR fan, or that didn't ring your bell. Would you have been in a good space after the show?
Yeah, because Forspoken is another one, right?
Okay,
I saw Forspoken, the first time they showed it, and that's the first game that they had shown specifically on a Sony stage where I went, okay, you guys got me. And now what they showed at this showcase from Forspoken, it's a 2-year time exclusive. Okay, we know that. 2 years. Whoosh. 2 years, it might as well be exclusive. Okay, even for me, like, I don't have FOMO. I don't need to play things day one. But 2 years, no, that's an exclusive to me.
Some Destiny 1 stuff,
right? Exactly. Forspoken is also another big one. I loved what I saw there. Just overall, again, a lot of this stuff, and Neil's absolutely correct. It's years and years away. We know that. Again, Wolverine, I don't expect to see till maybe 2024 at the earliest. If Insomniac can work its magic.
That's not January?
Yeah, no, that's not January. That's not January. So a lot of this stuff, but again, this is what they did. PlayStation 4 did not come out the gates swinging. They did not have a lot of stuff. In fact, the Xbox One probably had the better launch lineup.
Easily, I think.
Easily. For the first year, almost maybe 2 years, they had the better lineup overall. But at the same time, they sold hope and promise, and everybody knew it was coming. And again, I see them cutting enough deals. Sony has zero issue money hatting things. They're going to continue to money hat.
You're not going to slide past that, bro.
No, not at all. They will continue to money hat. And if something like Forspoken takes off, I don't doubt that they have a clause, much like they do with Square Enix already with Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was a timed exclusive. Have we heard word one about Xbox?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So I don't doubt that if Forspoken hits big, it becomes another big IP for Square Enix that they just go ahead and up that to 4-year exclusivity or full exclusivity. Again, So that kind of stuff I know they're going to do. They're always going to have content. No, they can't have the same amount of content as Xbox because they just don't have the teams. But what they're doing on the side, as far as second party, as far as funding new teams, they are acquiring some teams. Again, not the biggest stuff out there in the world. Not everything's going to be ZeniMax, that level. They can't. But at the end of the day, they're going to fill the gaps that are necessary. Xbox is still going to put out more overall content this generation than Sony could ever hope to from first party. Okay, that's just period. But that Sony's going to fill their customers' systems and ecosystem up with games. They're going to have constant content. They're going to cut the deals they need to cut. What you're going to get out of their first party. And again, not all their first party stuff is for me. I don't count it on the same level as a lot of people do. So you're not talking about one of these guys that even goes, oh my God, I got to have the next Last of Us. Nope. Last of Us ended with 1 for me. Okay. Period. So I'm not that guy. Right. But I just know for a fact that they are going to have quality content. They are going to have some big surprises down the road here that nobody expected to hear. We're starting to hear some smoke already about Twisted Metal coming back again. Yeah, look, those type of things, there's also some smoke right now that they just got a John Wick IP. Look, if you do these things right, this is the stuff that I look towards. Yes, they did everything they needed to do. They've got the third party relationships in place. And they're going to continue to make inroads there as well. Again, for me, Xbox is where I'm at. This generation, Xbox sold me. Xbox gave me exactly what I wanted as a budget gamer. I'm all in. Game Pass is the best thing to ever happen to gaming since I've been doing it for 4 decades. Okay, hands down, it is the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But Sony did enough during this show to say, hey, we're still going to bring you some stuff that you can't find anywhere else, or you're going to have to wait for an extremely long time elsewhere. And that's enough for me to eventually wind up with a PS5, which I would have anyways. But I'm saying, I'll start looking next year, depending on how the stock is, how obviously the chip thing goes and how it is to find one. I'll definitely start looking. I'd like to have one by the end of next year, if not the early 2023. So that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, no, that's 100% fair.
Blam?
Go ahead, Tinter. Yeah.
I just wanted to come out because of his comment on, I don't want people to think I'm out there like living and breathing PlayStation exclusives. I have a confession. I have never played a Last of Us game.
No, that's okay. That's 100% okay. Listen, that there's nobody. This is a non-judgmental zone. Yep. So
who cares?
That's why I'm just like, I'm not like, oh, another PlayStation exclusive.
Hey,
sign me up. I will say it. I missed Last of Us, and it's in my backlog, but I definitely do not have like plans to play it anytime soon.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. So shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We're gonna wrap this thing up in a second, but I wanna make sure I make another good point. I like what you pointed out, Pong, as far as the diversity of the lineup, a lot of things that they're coming out with that are different. They do have the ability. One thing I do give Sony a credit for, they can, even when things seem to be dire, they do a really good job at like reading the room or just maybe anticipating what makes the most sense for their brand. Not necessarily what's the just like we need to make the biggest splash, but what's going to make the most sense for us to get the effective reaction that we need. And doing small things like that is going to garner big reactions, especially due to it being Sony, as you can see just by the amount of people talking about it. I mean, we just did a whole hour-and-a-half show about this event, so that just goes to show you, obviously as a gamer, these things are important, and but they do a very, very good job at reading the room. As far as like what's going to get that garner people's attention. So, and Xbox has done a great job at that too, let's be honest. So they've been in the media all year. They've dominated the media all year for the most part, to be fair. But let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz, and just get your opinion on where you at on, as just you have a PS5, so let us make that known. So you don't need to go out and get one, but where you sit at right now with your PS5.
I just need them to hurry up and get this the drive expansion thing out of beta and make it public. I didn't want to bother with the beta because I don't want to run risks on a system that's hard to come by. Not that it wasn't that it was like a big risk, but I'm not taking any chances. But all things said, that show showed me a few things that I'm going to wind up buying. I already got a few games pre-ordered. I'm running out of space. By the time Kena comes out, I'm not about deleting games. I hope they update it so I can move my PS5 games to the external. Right now, you're not supposed to do that, but yeah, I got to figure out something. But yeah, I not as happy as I probably should be for like Gran Turismo, but that's just me being picky. And I know they'll probably, Polyphony being the perfectionist that they are, I know a lot of that will be hashed out by the time they're ready to show it as a deep dive. March is the on paper date. Let's see if they hold to it. But if they don't hold to it, Polyphony being Polyphony,
not happening.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Maybe it'll be March 2024. But by the time it is ready to release, it will look like it's ready to be released, and it will have all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted, and the details on the dynamic weather and all that stuff. So, still looking forward to it. I'll get antsy probably by 2024. By the time I complete the campaign part or the season part on Motorsport 8, yeah, GT7 better be out by that point. But other than that, yeah, they need to hurry up with that beta program, make it public so that way it's just an update and I can go ahead and install another Firecuda or get another Firecuda. No, actually I have the WD one, the black one. So I got to get one similar to what I have on my PC and put it in there. And this one will have a heat sink on it since my motherboard already has a heat sink. I ain't need the heat sink one for my PC. But yeah, they're going to get more money out of me, $70 and all. But that's a whole nother story.
All right. Well, I think most people are satisfied. And once again, this was more of just art. Like I said, it's always our opinion, people. You guys understand that. But I know things get a little bit crazy and things get all muddled. But ultimately, I think people are overall happy with what they saw. Now, at the end of the day, are we all going to be satisfied? No, that's impossible. So, always keep that perspective as well. But I think we're actually going to go ahead and wrap things up. And I see what you said, Bacon. He said you guys are going to talk about the Redfall leak. I kind of don't, because I know somebody that sent me some pictures. I'm not saying anything.
It's pre-alpha, for God's sakes, man. You can look at them.
I know. I felt disgusted. I had to go take a shower. I'm like, what is this guy doing?
Oh my God. Look, they weren't just for you. I thought Fuzzy would be interested. I thought Century would be interesed.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know you.
No, but yeah, I don't know if we want to get into that, man. I don't know if that's even something to work. Oh yeah. Let me.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that one too. So that one, what was that? The 2022 or 2023? Did they say
2022 summer next year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Neo said, "Don't forget his super chat." He said, "What's everybody's thoughts on plant medicine?"
he's coming at me for my morning show here. So
you know what?
Talk about the artful escape. I took the nice way out and said I wish I was in my younger days and still had access to plant medicine, and he just thought that was freaking hilarious.
Wow.
Wow, plant medicine.
Yeah, right?
that game is a bit trippy.
Yes, very much so.
Shout out to Neo, man. I did see it. I didn't catch the reference right away.
He was
so
dying.
Excuse me.
He was dying.
No. I see it now. For sure.
Am I the only one wanting to point out the great thing that Thor has officially made me feel comfortable in my own skin?
Oh yeah, that accurate, that history accurate.
All of a sudden, I don't feel like I got to do as many sit-ups as I've been doing.
Yeah, see Neo over there laughing, but no, I feel you. Yeah. Shout out to Neo, man. Good shit, bro. I saw it, but I didn't catch the reference. So I'm glad you mentioned it so I can reread it and embarrass Pong on live. So shout out to you, man.
I've got the bullet points, PTK, on Redfall leak. If you want me to read through them, I don't know if you want to go into it or not. I've got the bullet points as to what it appears to be. Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
All right, that's fine. So this comes from the leaker. Everybody that's checked out this leaker, shout out to Scalzi and other people in the community, say this guy's legit. It was probably a one-off testing that he did. For the people who don't understand what's happening here, there was some leaked screenshots of an alpha or pre-alpha build of Redfall, the Arcane exclusive to Xbox next year, summer 2022 new game that they showed off at E3, the CGI trailer that we got. Very promising from the screenshots. You guys can go find them if you want to. They're out there. from what I've seen, again, there's a lot of people running with it, trying to say on the Sony side, it looks awful. My God, this is not next gen. Of course, again, this is pre-alpha, alpha. Okay, look, trust me. This ain't the finished project by any stretch of imagination. But anyways, the leaker did also give some details about what he played and what the game is playing like. Obviously, all subject to change. Anything could be different, but this all looks legit. So the game is described as an open world game in line with something between Borderlands and Breath of the Wild, a core story taking you across the world, but also a myriad of side arcs, missions, and fights. Gameplay style loop is very similar to Borderlands. Seamless open world compared to the likes of Breath of the Wild and Ghost of Tsushima. Can be played solo or co-op. 6 playable characters to choose from, which is absolutely fantastic. Each character has a unique hero ability. One character has a bird that acted as a sort of drone, and the other could cloak for added stealth. Another character had something similar to a shadow hop or other short-range teleport move, blink ability in Dishonored. We kind of saw this stuff in the trailer. At least it was hinted at. Game can be tackled stealth or guns blazing. Again, another awesome part of this. Get XP from killing enemies and doing missions. There are side missions. There are boss fights in the game similar to the bosses of Borderlands. Size of the map is similar in scope to Fallout 76 or Ghost of Tsushima. Again, nice size map there. Mix of traditional weapons like rifles and handguns, and also more unique stuff like a stake launcher. Not like the meat steak, but an actual vampire killing wood steak, obviously. Enemies are a dynamic mix of ranged, melee, vampire, and humans. There are NPCs, but not AI partners replacing human co-op like in Left 4 Dead, closer to Borderlands or Assassin's Creed style NPCs. So that's the current information that we got on the game. It's sounding great. I loved what I saw out of the screenshots. It looks like they've nailed the entire style of the game as to what they want already, which is great to know. It doesn't look like there's any, like they're trying different things in different areas. The style is very, it's uniform across all the pictures that I saw. So they definitely locked that down in place. So like what I'm seeing, and Borderlands looter shooters, give it to me every day of the week. And if you can do stealth, cool. Extra bonus points.
Yeah, no, listen. I looked over a couple of the bullet points. I saw them myself.
Yep.
I didn't look. I looked at one screenshot and I didn't really look at it. I'm be honest with you. I did, but I did look over. I did look over the bullet points. And there are some people already. We're hearing oh, well, this is what, it's not what we thought it was, and already talk. I don't know how you can surmise the quality of a game based off bullet points, but that's neither here nor there. I'm excited for the game overall. I was excited before we got any of this. Yep. And it's funny because you could already surmise based on the pedigree, based on the type of games that Arcane makes, that it was going to have some of these elements. You look at Dishonored, look at, Deathloop, look at the type of games that they make. So it's going to have some of those elements. But I do like the fact that it is going to be playable co-op or solo. I'm heavy into the Division and Destiny, so that's right up my alley. Yep. Borderlands, that's right up my alley. Obviously, hopefully we'll see. It's kind of new because of the vampire twist. Is kind of neat. We don't see a lot of vampire games, so I think that's exciting as well too. So, but yeah, ultimately, I don't think any of that took away from my expectations for the game. I'm super excited, and just hearing some of those bullet points, whether they're, like you said, they are subject to change. That's not final, but that's right up, my alley. I'm gonna play the hell out of it when it comes out. Obviously, Game Pass as well, day one, I believe. I'm pretty sure it will be.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Fuzz. Get your opinion on just what you heard and the whole list, and where you at on this.
Oh, I can't wait. I mean, the imagery, I know it wasn't, quite what people were expecting, but the big thing that I think a lot of people were asking about, is it going to be first person? Is it going to be third person? And the fact that you can do third person, I'm sold. That I wanted to be able to see the characters in action type of deal, and the fact that they're testing that, hopefully that stays in the final game. That's going to be awesome. The fact that it's going to be kind of a looter shooter to some extent, that's I'm there for that.
Yeah.
That's as much as I played Division, and we've played Borderlands and Destiny and a few other games, it's like, this is sounding better and better. I know some people were probably expecting something else, but the looter shooter aspect, just elevated it that much more. I was already pumped for it. Looter shooter aspect, yeah, more so now. Just, I guess 2022 was, you said spring or summer 2022?
No, it was
Summer.
yeah.
Yeah, but I expect it to be late summer, right at the end of summer. If they even hold that, I would expect that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like probably August 30th.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right.
Well, that's all I got. Definitely looking forward to it.
All right. Well, what about you, Centurion, before we wrap this up here, brother?
I'm looking forward to the game. I've had a lot of fun playing Borderlands, and when somebody says it's a Borderlands, what other game did they compare it with? Borderlands and one other one?
Breath of the Wild. From the open world standpoint, the Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
I mean, what more could you want? I mean, it looks like it's going to be an absolutely fun game. I mean, anything to get together with friends. Hit me up when you guys get this. I mean, I would love to try this game out and probably invest hours into it. It seems like a really great concept. It interests me on just the CG trailer alone. It's great to see some alpha build and to actually get an idea of what this game is going to, at least kind of like the avenue that they're wanting to go down. I'm not going to say this is what it's going to look like, because like Pong said, it's just alpha. But I'm excited. I'm excited.
You know, listen.
Yeah, and it's Arcane. Arcane does fantastic work.
Yeah, exactly. And I think another thing, Pong, is I don't know if maybe people, like you said, they were just a little off base based on what we saw in the trailer. Maybe they thought it was going to be a little bit more story driven.
I think people had the impression of Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood, that style versus this. I think again, for me, just like Fuzz said, the minute I heard looter shooter Borderlands style, and then I saw the screenshot with, you could see the loot rarity and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, now the hype chart's off. It's gone. My hype is over the moon for this game right now. So yeah, for sure. I just think people had the idea it was going to be more of a co-op experience, like we've been seeing a lot of lately, like Aliens Fire Team, Back 4 Blood, that kind of style. I think that's what.
Can I at least put out what I thought it was going to be when I first saw it?
No,
I thought it was going to be.
No, I'm just joking. Centurion, go, man.
I thought it was going to be like an Overwatch thing.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was going to be like, pick your tank, pick your, person with abilities, healer, whatever. Like when you saw the girl that was able to manifest the elevator that took the sniper to the roof, it just seemed like teamwork style, like gameplay, like you would see in Overwatch.
I can get those vibes. I didn't see that, but that's super interesting as well too. I didn't get that take, but I get what you're saying. I did definitely get the Left 4 Dead vibes. I know people were talking about it.
I didn't play Left 4 Dead in them, so that's probably why I'm lacking in that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Because it looked co-op and kind of the idea with the vamp. It did give off a little bit of those vibes. But seeing that it's more Borderlands, Breath of the Wild, which is a good mix, by the way, not a bad mix at all. And I'm surprised by the Breath of the Wild reference. That means it's really like open. Like you can probably just it's probably a gigantic open map.
Seamless, just seamless. Yeah, exactly.
Seamless as well, which is going to be super fun. So I guess we'll see how this all pans out. But that actually is going to wrap up the Shop Podcast for the night, man. We had a phenomenal show once again. I know the guest, I had to back out. He had a last minute emergency. So shout out to Mo. We're going to get him back on the show at some point, man. For sure. Me and him are working behind the scenes, and we'll get him back on. We talked about it a little bit once things calm down a little bit. But shout out to you guys in the chat watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed the show. We had a great talk about the chat. Didn't get very toxic either. I do appreciate you guys being straight up about the Sony event and everything's going on. We didn't get too crazy in here, man. We just like to have fun. And I think at the end of the day, what ties us all together is these games. So that's the most important thing. But either way, you guys always showing up, showing out. Make sure you do everything before you leave the post here. You subscribe, like the video, do all of that good stuff. But let's go ahead and round the bases here. And let's go ahead and start with you, Pong, man. Appreciate you always here bringing the energy. Let everybody know where you can find you at, man.
Yeah, man. What a great Saturday night. Again, it's just been nonstop. It seems like between all the games coming out and this news, with Sony having a show off of E3, and it's just continuous right now. God, this is a great time to be a gamer. And I'm just so blessed to be here with you guys, brothers, and my other shows to be able to talk about the things that we love, the hobby that we love. And this, again, I love coming here Saturday nights. This is the best way to end that. And so thank you guys for all your thoughts tonight. It was a big topic, but loved hearing all the different aspects and what people thought of this show. I'm glad I'm not alone in liking it. Maybe I'm a little bit alone in how much I liked it, but at the end of the day, again, like you say, PTK, we're all gamers here. And I think that's what, even if we have a preference, every single one of us here on this show, especially, puts that preference aside and can just look at it from a gamer standpoint and how much, we enjoy this, and no matter where it's coming from. So this was awesome. Chat, you guys were amazing. Absolutely ridiculous, showing up each and every week here on the Shop Podcast. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Play what you love what you play. It is the golden age of gaming. Don't forget that. But you guys are the reason why we are here, and I'll never stop telling you that, even if you're sick and tired of it. Love all of you, nothing but respect. You can find me, Pong Soul, Xbox, Twitter, you know the drill there. Follow me, I'll follow you back. I just got word while I was doing this show, I am going to be on Good Morning Xbox tomorrow with Noof Nukem and the crew over there. Awesome. Nice and early. That means I got to roll out of bed. Holy cow. Sunday is usually the day I sleep in. I usually play late tonight. Man, this is going to be interesting. But Good Morning Xbox tomorrow, new show. It starts early, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Hope to see some of you there, even though it is so early. I understand completely, but I will be there tomorrow. Tuesdays, Xbox Factor Podcast, Mr. Boomstick, Double Barrel Gaming. Obviously, we've got Zemi Games, 3-Bit, when he is available. He is a busy man right now working in the industry nonstop. So, but I'll be there 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Got a big week this week as well there on all these topics that are coming up. And then Friday nights, Xbox Ultimate over on Mav's channel, Fun Speculation, along with his amazing wife, Caitlin, who popped into our chat, and the rest of the Magnificent Seven. 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time on Friday nights, and then Saturday mornings. Woo-wee! Steele and I are on a roll. Right now, I think the past 3 episodes, we just got done with 24. We are averaging 3 hours and 15 minutes per show, just him and I. Today was 4 hours. So come check him and I out. We will get you up on Saturday mornings. Just set your alarm, turn us on, try to go back to sleep, but you're going to feel our energy, and you're going to wake up anyway. So just be there. It's a great time. Him and I just absolutely love this, man. This is so much fun. Living split screen, all one word, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 3 p.m. UK time. Again, love all of you, and we will talk to you real soon.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you, man. And yeah, make sure you guys go follow Pong on Twitter. That's where you're going to be able to find the links to everything. You'll be able to catch him there. Pong's super awesome dude. One of the most energetic people I've ever been around as far as in this gaming community. Always super upbeat. So appreciate you here, brother. And oh, by the way, Neil, I'm not ducking no smoke. I'm not a Cowboys fan. So I don't know who told you that. I don't know if this is for me. But I'm not a Cowboy. I'm so far from a Cowboys fan, Neil. I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe someone. Oh, I know Blue is a Cowboys fan, so you might throw that smoke at Blue.
Yeah, so is Mav. Mav is a Cowboys fan too.
So yeah, you want to throw that their way because I can't. Anyway, you finna get me on a tangent, Neo. Lord have mercy. But shout out to Neo. Appreciate the super chat, still my brother, for sure. But yeah, you as well, Pong, man. You guys go check him out. Living Split Screen. Shout out to Still Rain. They do it big every single morning on Saturday, man. So appreciate you showing up here, man. Having the energy throughout the week to just do what you do, man. We appreciate you, man. Let's go ahead and throw this over to you, Centurion, as well. Cooking up on the channel, the YouTube's over there. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Well, gentlemen, it was another great show tonight. I look forward to doing this every Saturday night with you guys. I mean, I couldn't think of being anywhere else. So definitely a great show. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. For those wanting to find me, please find me on my channel on YouTube at Centurion1307. You can also locate me at Centurion1307 on Twitter and Xbox Live. I'm also here every Saturday night with these amazing gentlemen, and I'm also every Sunday night with the guys over on the TXR podcast.
I appreciate you, man. Once again, go check out TXR as well. Appreciate you being here every single week, Centurion. Thank you so much, bro. And last but not least, man, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, man. Let everybody know what you got cooking up. I know there's some changes coming down the line, and I'm not sure if you want to talk about those yet, but there's some changes coming.
Well, the only real change I'll talk about right now, I'm getting up there where I want to retire. So trying to make that happen, but that's man. It's going to be a big undertaking, but in any event, you can always find me on Twitter at @fuzzy_Belvedere, PSN at @fuzzy_Belvedere, or Xbox Live _Belvedere. More than likely playing whatever's the latest game, either on Game Pass or recent release. But just want to say thank you to you guys as well as the chat. You guys just make this hobby awesome, and talking about it with you guys is always the highlight for this Saturday. So greatly appreciate everybody, and thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you as well. Always smoothing things out. And where did all these Cowboys fans? How did you guys sneak in here? Do we not turn on the Cowboy fan filter? I need a filter. But no, I'm just playing. I appreciate you guys just as much as anybody else. But but yeah. But and let me go ahead and wrap things up here. But appreciate you Cowboys fans hanging out with us too, man. But either way, last but not least, your boy PTK Blam across the board. Hit me up on Xbox Live if you want to play some games. Hit me up on Twitter if you just want to figure out what's going on with the shop. And me personally, just talking stuff on there all throughout the week. Once again, poll of the week on Monday, so we'll have a brand new one. Looking to get another guest this week as well. So if you guys want to just throw me some suggestions, you can always DM me or tweet me if there's somebody you think will be good for the Shop Podcast. We want to do what the people want, so we want to make sure you guys are satisfied and happy as well as ourselves. But man, we're gonna wrap this thing up. You guys enjoy your weekend. Please be safe. We'll be back same time, same place next week. Peace out, everybody.
Later.